of So What's New in the Biscuit Tin. I'm Jess.
And I'm Sam.
And we are recording literally side by side. We're basically stuck together.
Smug.
We've got two of us and one mic, but we're recording in my new flat.
I know. And the sun is out.
The sun is out, although we've got all the curtains closed, so hopefully the sound will be better. But, you know, it's sunny in spirit and it's incredibly hot.
It's worth documenting that it's 24 degrees and the sun is out, I think.
It is. It's important. In case when this comes out, it's none of those things.
Yes.
It would be nice to know it was.
Because when this comes out, it will be the beginning of June and who knows what's happening.
Oh my goodness. I cannot even, guys. I cannot even. We are so excited to bring you a second season of the pod. We really didn't know what was going to happen with the first one. We didn't know if you guys would like it. Thankfully, a lot of you do like it, which is a really nice feeling.
And we've had such lovely feedback and comments that we've been working away in the background getting this season ready.
So we have a number of very fun surprises for you. One will be revealed a little bit later in the break in the episode. Yeah. But crucially, we are back for season 2, and that's only possible because of you guys. So please pause the podcast right now. Go to your or I don't know if you can do it with the podcast playing, but if you can, do that too. Go to your podcast platform of choice and please rate and review the pod. Please tell us your lovely things. Give us a quick cheeky 5 stars.
And if everyone tells one friend, that will be amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. We are your friendly neighbourhood service. We are here to chat and talk about our sewing fails and generally have a lovely time. So join us.
And we've been gone for 2 months?
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's been such a whirlwind that I have no concept of time anymore. But it has been 2 months. Yeah. But it's been great. We've been doing lots of planning.
We have. We will tell you about some of them. We've got new guests coming over this season.
Yes, we do.
We've got completely different topics.
We do. Well, it wouldn't be a new season if we talked about the same things. We have made an effort to talk about something different.
We've been doing our own things in the background. It's now June. I've celebrated 1 year on YouTube in May.
Whoop, whoop.
We've been sewing and going to things, and you've moved house, and
oh my goodness, I've been to at least one wedding. And also, Sam will be celebrating 1 year on YouTube in June. I will be celebrating 4 years on Instagram at the end of June.
Wow.
And I am planning something, and I'm saying something because A, I haven't actually finished planning it yet, and B, I don't want to reveal too much right now. So, 2.5 minutes in, shall we actually talk about the podcast?
Well, we should, but I do think I need to ask you, what biscuit are you right now?
Well, there is a half-eaten packet of Maryland's next to us, which I think is really is me right now. I have discovered, this is not a podcast plug they have asked for, but we have moved house and I've discovered a B&M near my house.
Oh, I love
B&M. The thing is, I'd never set foot in a B&M in my life. It just hadn't come up.
Okay.
And then I needed house things. So I needed dusters and, do you know what? I needed plug. You'd be so proud of me. I am such a big girl. I changed a fuse and a plug myself.
That is impressive.
Admittedly, I think the most impressive bit is I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out why the dryer, I'm not even going to swear there and make Sam edit, but why the dryer wouldn't work. And then I picked up the plug, and I used to do a fair bit of this kind of stuff for work, and I looked at the plug and I was like, why is the fuse bit empty? Like, who's taking the fuse? Like, I can only think the guy who used to live here was using one fuse around everything. So I went to B&M and I bought like 3 packs of fuses. But I've also discovered how cheap biscuits are there.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. And they're right on the way in.
You've got to check your prices.
I know.
Right. Now, my question is though, have you been to Home Bargains?
No, never.
There's a Home Bargains here too. You're missing out. Home Bargains is my favourite.
We are going to go together.
I would take you on a shopping trip to Home Bargains.
We're going to go. Although you may also have to hold my wallet, and I'll give you the amount I'm allowed to spend.
I build up to like the things I need to get in Home Bargains. It's a good shop, and then you get the random surprises as well.
Yeah, which is always fun. What are you?
Well, I think I am one of the new McVitie's Bliss biscuits.
What on earth is that?
Think sort of shortbready biscuit base, layer of sort of chocolate, but not like Nutella, but like a bit more solid, but not solid.
Okay.
And then a little decorated biscuit shape on the top.
So like a jammy Dodger, but somewhere between a mince pie and a jammy Dodger in look, in appearance only.
We will put a photo somewhere. But they are amazing. They come in like a little Ziploc closable bag. Now, I have had them once before, but would you like to know the story of how I got this packet of Bliss biscuits?
I really would. Tell me everything.
So, you and I know, and so do our listeners, just how much chat you can get out of biscuits. Convincing the rest of the world when I tell them that I have a podcast just called What's New in the Biscuit Tin always produces a look of puzzlement on people's faces.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So I was talking to two 15-year-olds. One of them was my stepdaughter and the other one
Not
was
just
her
two
friend.
random
Not
15-year-olds.
I didn't go and approach random ones in a park. We were preparing to go to Thorpe Park for the day, and we got onto the fact that I do a podcast. And when I told her the name, obviously my stepdaughter knows, but just does an eye roll like you do. And so I said, let me explain to you why. So I explained to them both why it was called that and how much chat we can get out of it. 10 minutes later, we're still talking about biscuits. And I said, see? And they both went, oh. And I had asked both of them, what biscuit do you think you are? I had very considered, I need to go and think about that.
Ooh.
To the point where my stepdaughter's friend went away and 2 days later had thought about it so much that she'd engaged her mum in a conversation about it.
That's adorable.
And she'd decided that she was a Jaffa Cake.
Love it.
And her mum had decided she was the McVitie's Bliss biscuit. And they arrived at my stepdaughter's house where she lives with her mum when she's there with a bag of Jaffa Cake variety and Bliss biscuits as a gift to say thank you for taking us to Thorpe Park.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God,
then
I love that.
I had a WhatsApp message from my stepdaughter, which, as you know, if you have anything to do with 15-year-olds, that in itself is a shattering thing.
Yeah.
Telling me what biscuit she was too.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
And so by the time all that had happened, I was like, see? And they were like, okay, we get it now.
Do you know what? Off the back of that, I've just had an idea. And folks, if you've ever met me in person, this is what I'm like. I'm like, oh my God, thought, idea. We should, whenever our guests tell us what biscuit they are, we should post them some of that biscuit as a thank you for doing the episode.
Nice. Yeah,
we should
I
do
love
that.
Yeah.
With a little card.
Yeah.
And because I think it's so great when people put the effort in like that to think about what they are, to then have that biscuit. It's really nice. I mean, so many of you said you were party rings at the So Yellow Friend party. I got about 5 packs.
They went really quickly.
They did.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone likes a party ring.
I mean, my other half is still very disappointed. We had a big podcast planning evening, didn't we?
We did.
Where I cooked you dinner.
And then we lay on the floor for a long time.
And I'd bought some salted caramel chocolate fingers. He couldn't believe we ate the entire pack. And I'm like, how could you not believe that?
Folks, not only did we eat the entire pack, I mean, I ate quite a few of them, let's be honest. But we did so in about 2 hours.
Oh, yes. They fueled the planning, as Jess says, we were laying on the floor writing on big bits of paper with Sharpie pens. And yes, the following morning he went to have one and went, oh, they're all gone. So
I'm going to get better packets of them now.
Let's be clear, though, he had been gifted, because I don't like Jaffa Cakes. He'd had a normal pack, the Jaffa donut ones, the Joe Nuts.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, and raspberry flavoured Jaffa Cakes as well. So he'd done okay.
Yeah, he'd done well at that. To be fair, folks, I'm not just being mean to Jaffa Cakes. I know lots of you like them. But Jaffa Cakes fall into the category of foods I'm incredibly allergic to, so I ignore. So, in my brain, I just forget they exist until I see them and go, oh, I can't have any. Now, the Bliss biscuits. Yes. Can I have them?
Oh,
because you said it's a sort of Nutella-y thing, or is it just chocolate spread?
It depends on what they put in the chocolate, doesn't it?
We should look at that, because I would like to try them. But folks, for anyone who doesn't know, I have a very severe egg and nut allergy, so there's most biscuits I can have.
Yeah.
But sometimes on the fancier end.
When they're trying to be all fancy glazing and
speaking of fancy biscuits, I need you to give me a lift up to Waitrose before we do a pod recording once, because there are some very specific biscuits I need to share with you.
Sounds good.
The only place I've ever seen them is the free from section in Waitrose, because they're technically gluten free and they are egg free, and they're like oats and 4 types of chocolate, and they got me through my undergrad thesis. They're like, my Latin teacher used to get them for me because he'd get biscuits for everybody else and I couldn't eat any of them.
Yeah.
And
okay, we do need to do a series of us going biscuit shopping.
We absolutely do.
Yes, I can feel a series of reels coming on.
A series of reels as we go and rate them as well.
Yes.
I think we should do biscuit taste tests.
Yeah, and level of crumbage, because I've dropped quite a few crumbs today from eating those
Yes, you
Maryland
have.
cookies.
She is just flinging crumbs across my living room.
They are crummy, is all I can say.
They are, it's true.
So,
should we talk about sewing?
Yes. 10 minutes of biscuit chat easy.
Beautiful.
So what I challenge you listeners to do is, if you haven't, go and ask other people you know what biscuit they are. You will be amazed at the length of conversation you can
And then
get
tell
out
us
of
your
this.
results, please.
We'd love to hear those.
Tag us.
Yes.
Stick it on your story. Tag us so we can put them in a highlight, because I love hearing it.
So today's theme is a fabric band the answer?
Yes, and I'm going to flip round to this and say, is a fabric band the question as well? Because, and I'm not just being needlessly sort of philosophical here. I genuinely think when you're at the point of considering a fabric band, there are other questions you need to be asking yourself. And one of those questions is, what has led you to need a fabric band in your life?
So, do you want me to tell you how I got to the point where I was thinking?
Yes, I do, and then we
Right.
can swap.
I have been, for anybody who watches me elsewhere, such as YouTube or Instagram, on quite a conscious journey for the last year of thinking about what I sew and whether I wear it or not. This probably started about 4 years ago when I stopped buying new clothes. Mm-hmm. So I took part in one of the Oxfam second-hand Septembers.
Yes.
I never stopped. So I actually haven't bought, apart from about 3 pieces, new clothes in 4 years.
Right, okay.
So I took a conscious decision to think carefully about what I wear a long time ago, then fell into sewing a lot more clothes and fell into buying lovely fabric, which is so easy, and I'm sure lots of you are sat out there nodding. There's always lovely fabric.
Oh, yeah.
And the wonderful Yvette of Stash Hub did a great reel, didn't she, about the fact that there will always be lovely
Well, she came on the
fabric.
podcast and we talked about
Yes.
exactly that, didn't
Yeah.
we?
And so I had to stop just buying lovely fabric because it was lovely and buy lovely fabric that worked for me. So that was phase 1 sort of last year. But then as we came into this very bizarre spring that we've had this year, where like today I'm in a summer dress and Jess is in shorts.
Yeah, I'm in denim shorts,
and,
guys.
And a week ago I was in a turtleneck and a jumper.
Yeah, last week I was in jeans. Like, what has happened?
So I was getting out. I like to plan my outfits the night before.
Mm-hmm.
So I was getting out, not when I'm at home, but when I'm going out somewhere. So I was getting out the outfit and laying it out because I like to choose things from my wardrobe that have not had a turn for a while, because I do
Same
think
here.
some of the clothes get a bit sad otherwise. And
Got to
so
keep them all included, guys.
Yes, and I laid them out, and the following morning I didn't want to put it on. And so I had to ask myself, and I ended up choosing something different. I was like, oh, that's annoying, because I put all that effort into choosing an outfit, I've laid it out, and now I've not worn it. So I started asking myself why, and I just finished reading the Big Dress Energy book. Mm-hmm. And in there she talks about organising your wardrobe by colour and working out...
Which you know is how I do mine as well.
Yes, I don't. I organise it by type, because then when I want a skirt and a top. So I didn't actually physically organise it, but I started looking and I realised I probably had too many colours.
Yes, okay.
So then I started thinking a bit more, and I realised that actually the colours I like to wear in the winter, and I know this is different for everyone, but I've come to the point where I know I like jewel tones in the winter.
Yeah.
But
with you
I
there.
don't want to wear jewel tones in the spring, even if it's cold.
It's just
because
wrong.
I
Like,
want
yeah.
to feel like spring,
Yeah.
even if I've got 3 layers
Well,
on.
exactly. You want to wear
know?
those spring colours,
Yeah.
sort of not necessarily pastel, but those brighter, warmer.
Yeah.
Like, I love a jewel tone as well, but anything burgundy I own at this, like, frankly, in March, went away until September.
Yes. So I actually had a massive purge of my wardrobe. I got everything out that was all of those, like, what I would now was in my mind thinking of winter colours, including everything black. I took all the black
Really?
out.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Because I wanted to push myself, because it's so easy to pair your bright tops with black bottoms.
Yeah.
And it's actually the worst combination because they jar against each other.
Yeah.
So I thought, this is not just about swapping winter for spring clothes. This is about swapping out and taking everything that doesn't fit with the right colour. So I'm just left with the things that feel like spring. So first of all, when I didn't want to wear what I had in my wardrobe, I thought, have I got too much choice? Have I got too much fabric? Because sometimes I don't know if anyone else gets like that, but sometimes I look at my fabric and I feel a bit uncomfortable. Do you ever get that?
I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but I do have a lot less fabric than you.
Yes.
I think, but I still feel overwhelmed by... Okay, this is going to sound really silly.
Yeah.
fabric that is neatly folded away and stashed, fine. Fabric that it's when fabric starts staying in its bag because there isn't room, or it's stacked and then I go, oh god, I'm uncomfortable, I need to use it, I shouldn't have got it, and that at that point I'm like, I feel uncomfortable.
When I can't fit mine into my organising, so even though I've taken it out of the bag, so I'll take it out of the bag and put it in the wash basket before I wash it. Much to my other half, he hates that I put it in the wash basket. Someone else said to me, you put it in the wash basket? I said, I've got a separate pile. I'm like, yeah, but I'm waiting for a sunny day to wash it, so it goes in the wash basket.
That's fair.
So after I've washed it, ironed it and rolled it, because I roll it as I iron it.
Yes, you do.
Then I'm like, I can't fit it in. And then I get all weird because actually now I think, have I bought too much that I can't fit it in?
There's too much pressure to then use, like...
Yeah. And also, I then get the guilt of... It's not that I don't want... I'm not guilty for buying fabric. I'm guilty that there's too much that I can't fit it in the set storage I've got.
Yeah.
And then there's that risk of if you get another space or another box...
You're just going to fill that as well.
Yes, and Stacey Solomon says this on Sort Your Life Out. She says, you will always grow to fill the space you've got. Yeah. So if I get another box, I'll just fill that other box.
Well, this is really interesting though, because I think it is the point at which a fabric ban sometimes comes in. For me is when I go, right, I need to use the fabric I've got, because I don't necessarily like fabric shopping.
See, I love it.
I mean, I do. I love it in some ways.
Yeah.
But I almost love it too much, in that I don't trust myself. If there's fabric I want, I'm very good at not buying any, and I'm very good at buying a lot. But I can't really do that, I'll just get that one. That's not, you've seen me. It's not how it works. I go, right, well, now I'm fabric shopping, so let's go. But if I say, I think my downfall, like at the NEC, for the Sewing for Pleasure show, was I said, I'm gonna buy one thing.
Yes, you did.
And that's the problem. I will never buy one thing. I will buy nothing, or I will buy 17 to 18 things. But and I know that's my problem, but with a fabric ban sometimes as well, I find I get caught up in the shopping element, and I'm not as conscious as I could be. I'll buy a bit of fabric every now and then, but I really like to make sure I have a plan, or it's a fabric that could be used for loads of stuff that I will make and wear. But I think sometimes a fabric ban for a lot of people comes up at that moment. They start to feel uncomfortable. Or for me, a big one is if I have too much fabric, I get entirely overwhelmed and I can't sew at all.
I had that, and I fixed that by the way I reorganised it and organised it by type.
I think I need to do that.
Because I was getting like that, and so I organised it by type, because then when I'm planning a project, I'm shopping my stash. And I'm shopping for the type that I want. And then it makes it for me, that made it quite enjoyable.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also think sometimes if you say, I'm on a fabric ban, it's a bit like saying, don't think about a purple elephant, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's immediately what you start doing. Is you start going, I want to buy fabric. But then I think it depends why you're doing it. Because I have done quite a few fabric bans. And I think it's a little bit like dieting. If you say... right, I am going to cut out from tomorrow morning. I'm never going to eat sugar ever again in my life. Yes, you are.
Yes.
Whereas if you say, I'm not going to eat sugar for a month because I don't like the way it's affecting my energy levels. So I'm going to try a month with no refined sugar and I'm going to do it in this way. You have more success.
So I actually said I'm not going to buy any patterned fabric for 3 months, only plains.
Right, okay.
So, like you say, if it's like a purposeful thing rather than a all or nothing.
Yeah.
So, back in I think it was August, September, October, I said I'm going to buy plains only because I don't have any plain fabric. And that's a problem because I'm not sewing any plains to go with the patterns.
And then you've just got patterns which don't go with other patterns, which is the problem I have currently.
And that actually made me really search the website and look for plains because I wasn't looking at them.
Side note though, how difficult is it to find decent plains? I must have spent last year for Sew Recreate the Look because I wanted a bamboo jersey black t-shirt Trying to find a
difficult.
plain black bamboo jersey that wasn't 40 quid a metre
Yeah.
was almost impossible. So fabric shops, if you're listening, there's a lot of people who'd like a plains collection.
And you're right, and you go to one place and find one plain, and then you have to buy another plain from somewhere else.
God, I know.
So it was a really interesting exercise for me, because what it did was make me actually look on the websites of what plains were available and what plain fabrics were available.
What plain fabrics you might like that you hadn't seen before as well.
Because we're always going to see lovely patterned ones, because they're the ones that the shops promote, they're the ones that we see other people wearing. Mm-hmm. Rarely do you see the plains promoted.
Yeah, very rarely
Yeah.
actually, and it does make you forget they exist.
Yes.
Also,
So
they never trend.
No. You rarely see everyone going, oh, I'm all going to buy the blue viscous slub that...
Yeah, exactly.
So, I think...
Can you imagine? Maybe we should start a challenge.
Yeah. We'll put a whole newsletter of amazing plains.
Yes. Oh my god, yeah, great idea.
So that really worked for me, because it meant I bought plains, which meant I was then able to shop my stash to sew the plains, to build that into my wardrobe. And even now, when I'm sewing my spring things, I'm thanking past me for buying nice bright plains.
Yeah.
So that way, it's not an all or nothing ban. It's a trying to be consciously thoughtful about what I'm looking for.
Which is very different, and I do think
Yeah.
that's more of a fabric. It's like fabric shopping with direction and purpose.
Yes.
I think what's quite interesting you're saying about patterns. I think that's where a lot of people struggle. Is if you're on a self-imposed fabric ban for no other reason than you think you don't need any more fabric, which is,
Valid,
rational. You
yeah.
may not, but it's much harder to resist when you're like, oh, but that fabric's really nice and I'm seeing it everywhere, and
Yeah.
oh, maybe I could just get a bit of it and I could do something with it, and then you buy a metre which you can't get anything out of, and then it just sits in your stash.
Yeah.
But I think that's really interesting, because for you went, I need plains, so I'm not allowed to buy anything that isn't plain. For me, I did a fabric ban October to December last year, or possibly through to January, because then I bought my wedding dress fabric, and that was the first fabric I'd bought. And for me, it was because I found it was getting to be more about the shopping than the sewing.
Yeah.
But also, I can't be the only one with this. I get such bad project overwhelm.
Do you?
If I've got too many projects on to sew, I don't want to do any of them. Because there's too many half-finished things around me, and that really stresses me out.
That's really interesting, and you're definitely not the only person. The amount of people who've said to me, oh my goodness, how can you have so many projects on the go at once? I need to get from one to the end. But I think that's the difference for me, is because I'm always sewing in between.
Yeah.
Like if I'm sewing before work, at lunch break and after work, I just get my overlocker out and I want to do all the overlocking, and then at the weekend when I've got some brain space, then I can do all the twiddlies.
Yeah.
So
I see what you mean.
we
sew very differently.
Really differently, and I think that could be a really interesting episode, because
I think so.
I don't often have the luxury, apart from when I go away with Christine or something, to really go fully on a tricky project. Mm-hmm. And if I'm sewing at 7 o'clock in the morning for 30 minutes before I have my drink and start work,
Yeah.
I need it to be, oh yes, I'm just going to hem everything, or I'm just going to overlock all these edges. Because by the time I've changed my overlocker thread, that's the 30 minutes gone.
Well, this is the thing though, and I do think it comes down to as well the type of. So, like with a complex project, I will pick a bit and do it in the morning. But in terms of inspiration, there's projects I want to do because I want to and I know they're good. And then there's projects that literally come to me in a dream and I go, well, I'm going to make that happen. Or I see something. And the thing is, those are the things I actually end up wearing all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, I made a black Tammy Handmade Priya.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a staple in my wardrobe. But I've been thinking about it for ages and I went, oh, wouldn't that be cool? And I bought some really nice black cotton lawn from Thirst for Fabrics and I made it in like 2.5 hours. And I've worn it all the time. And I think sometimes for me, I struggle if I've got too many things on. I feel like my inspiration is gone because I don't have the space to go, oh, I'll just cut that out now and do it. I've got to have a balance. And then the fabric ban comes in when I go, help, I don't have space, and it means my brain is too clouded by, oh, that's over there and I've got to do that bit of this, and then I've got this fabric I've got to use and now that's a mess and I can't get this away and I can't get to the ironing board.
And I'm completely different because I'll shop my stash, I'll get 5 patterns out and I'll cut them all out and I'll enjoy like pairing which one and laying them all out, and then I'll cut them all out, put them in project bags, and then over the space of 2 or 3 weeks I'll sew them all up.
I love project bags.
Because I could be, well, probably Jess knows from the messages we sent each other, my brain is going off on the thoughts all the time. And so if I like with this spring sewing, the joy I've had from getting the right coloured fabrics out of my stash and working out which one's going to be this top and which one will be this, and crafting that part of the gap in my wardrobe. I think that I think it's just, for me, is the excitement of planning as much as the sewing, and so the cutting out is a great part of that.
That's so interesting. I think, which bit of sewing do you hate?
Hemming, finishing.
So I will hem your stuff if you cut my patterns
Oh my
out,
God,
because
I love
oh my
cutting stuff
god,
out.
I hate. Do you know what? I don't mind it depending on the fabric. So cutting out stable cotton, fine. Cutting out denim, fine. Whatever, we'll do it. Cutting out the amount of satin I've used in the last 2 years, my god.
I love cutting out. I love the choosing. I love the laying out. I've got just these bits of wood where we use it when we did the podcast.
Yeah.
I lay them on the floor, often in my sitting room. I put a movie on in the background, and I can be there like 3-4 hours. It only hurts when I get up.
To be fair, actually, I have started batch cutting since
Yeah.
I've met you. Basically, I've started batch. But this morning, you'd be very proud of me. I cut out my shorts this morning so I can sew them
Yeah.
tonight.
There you go. I think it's really interesting. I think the sewing community is divided into people who hate cutting and people who love cutting out.
Yeah.
Some people hate it for understandable reasons around accessibility of cutting.
Completely.
The physicality of it is like a yoga workout.
Oh, it really is.
I tried cutting on a table and it hurt my head.
I hate cutting on a table.
Yeah.
I'm not accurate.
And I don't have a sewing room. Breaking news, listeners, I don't have a sewing room.
And now neither do I, folks, because we've downsized.
So I don't have a specific cutting out space. So you sometimes can find me cutting in the hallway upstairs in my
Now,
lunch break.
there is a pattern company I will not name, but who in their instructions said, take this fabric to your cutting table. And I was like, lol, no, that is a bit
Yeah.
exclusionary. But yeah, I mean, I think when we're thinking about fabric bands, though, desperately trying to be the
Yeah.
responsible one and bring us back for our
definitely
first episode of the
flipped
season.
roles here, yeah.
We have. It will not last, folks. But I think, do you know what it is? Is this time I can see the time more clearly, and this actually really helps me. In terms of a fabric band, what you've got to be careful with is that it's not beating yourself up.
Yes.
Because that's not healthy either.
No.
I strongly recommend a fabric ban or a fabric restriction or a fabric guidance based on a good reason or a good
Yes.
why.
Or to help you be more conscious, or to help you think.
Or to help you shop your stash, or to
Yeah.
help you figure out what you like sewing with so you don't keep buying, viscose and actually you prefer sewing with cotton or whatever it is. These are all good reasons.
Yeah.
But a bad reason for a fabric ban is, I've just got, I've got too much fabric and I don't feel like I'm allowed anymore. Now, being allowed is a weird choice of word, but it's one I hear a lot. You're allowed what you like.
Yeah.
What suits your circumstance is up to you.
Yes.
But it's a case of semantics and syntax. By saying, I am not allowed this, you are adding a level of shame to something that is a hobby.
Yeah.
You can say, jokingly, not really allowed to do this, but if you genuinely think, oh, I'm not allowed, you need to reframe how you're thinking about your sewing.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to why I felt it wasn't a fabric ban I needed. It's what am I doing and why am I doing it?
Exactly.
So, why have I bought all of this and I'm not sewing it is a much more valid question.
Yeah.
Because this is where I was at when I'm like, I've sewn this, I like the shape, why don't I wear it? It's because it's a nice patterned fabric, but it's not nice on me.
Yeah.
And so perhaps if you're feeling like you need a fabric band, maybe the question is, why have I bought fabric that I'm not wearing or sewing? And is it because...
hang on, restart it.
So it might be worth asking yourself the question, why am I not sewing the fabric I've got? Is it they don't feel like the right season and I've only bought winter colour fabrics? Or they don't feel like me anymore? Because it might be the fabric you own was bought at a time when you felt different.
Exactly. Or and again, I'm not going to name the brand because I don't want to name and shame here. However, there is a sewing brand that has started or uses what I would describe as more fast fashion techniques in terms of drops, etc.
Yeah.
And for me, I had to stop shopping there for a bit.
Yeah.
Because I found that mentality isn't good for me. Because I buy fabrics I don't need because I'm worried they're going to run out.
Yes. And I had to stop. I had to say to myself, there will always be lovely fabrics.
There will always be more lovely. You're right. We're not going to run out of fabric anytime soon.
No.
But also, by shopping like that, you stop. You shop the way you shop in fast fashion, where you go, oh, that would be nice, and you don't think about its life, you don't think about how long it's going to be with you, you don't think about all the things it could do.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a big thing. I had to stop shop. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't really shop in sales. Because I don't like the pressure on me. Or there's something in my brain that goes, unless it's fabric I've been looking for.
Yes, that's
and
what
I go, haha, bookmark,
Yeah.
I'll have that.
Yeah.
Like, I bought the chalk and notch shea dress I've wanted for ages in their
Yeah.
Me Made May sale. But that's been on my list for 6 months.
So I've started doing that. So when I stopped buying new clothes, what I realised was I had to have like either a mental or physical shopping list of what were the gaps in my wardrobe, so that when I was charity shopping, I knew what I was looking for.
I knew what you didn't need as well.
That didn't mean I didn't occasionally indulge in something crazy and ridiculous, but it meant that when I was going around the charity shops, in my head it was, I'm looking for a cream jumper or whatever it was. And so what I've started doing with my fabric shopping is, in my head, I know I'm looking for plain French terries.
Right.
Or I'm looking for ribbing, or I'm looking for some double gauze to make nice tops. So I've got like a mindset, so that then if a sale comes up and that item is in the sale,
Then you can get it.
I can get it. I always have ready way in advance of sew yellow. I'm looking for a yellow fabric I want to sew. Last time I
so
bought
bad. I always buy mine in March. Although, to be fair, actually, I did start making my jacket this year, like 2 months out. So I was ready for that.
So it's all those things like that. Like, I already have in my mind that I will probably want to sew something for the festive season.
Yeah.
So that's in my mind. So I'm consciously aware that I will choose a fabric.
Yeah.
And if I can get it at a discount or in a sale, and I can enjoy the period of choosing and browsing.
Yeah.
And over the bank holiday weekend, there were various shops who had offers on.
Yes.
I had 3 things dance in and out of my shopping basket all weekend while I asked myself questions like, is this print the kind of print where the pattern might fall weird on my body?
Very, very worth asking.
Yes. Is this print a print I like and I won't wear it? Is this a print that actually, what will I sew with it? And all weekend I danced around making decisions, and am I buying it because it's 15% off?
So this is the thing. I would say, if you've got something in mind, for example, I need like 30 odd meters of assorted velvet for my wedding. So if I see that in a sale, I will buy it fast. My card won't hit the ground because I know I need it. I know exactly what I need, and I'm spending the money anyway. So if I can spend less on it, that would be great.
Yeah.
But I've made a decision that I'm not allowing myself to look in sales generally, because I can see pretty much, except for, do you remember seeing this last summer? I made that like pink co-ord 2-piece, and I self-drafted it. It's like a strapless top.
I do. It was a Barbie movie,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yes. Well, it was related. I actually made it for holiday, but it was Barbie themed. It was around that time.
That was,
and that's probably the only sale fabric I can hand on heart say I've made instantly. I've got sale fabric in my stash that's been there 2-3 years, because I bought it being like, oh, that'll be good for, oh no, it's not quite long enough.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not quite. What I do like doing though, and I don't know if you do this, I often look in remnant sections.
Love it.
I love a remnant section. I once got 2.5 meters of viscose from So. It was 2.83 for 20 quid.
Yep.
And I made my first Tammy Handmade Rhea in it.
Yeah, I love a remnant. I always look in the sale sections and the remnant sections, because this is another, like, I'm not buying this for fast fashion. Where can I find a fabric at a good price? Because you know me, I love a bargain. I actually, Fabric Galore over the May bank holiday weekend, did have a £5 remnant sale.
Oh.
But cunningly, if you've not bought from them before and you sign up for the newsletter, you get 15%
Yes,
off.
you do.
So actually, these remnants were £4.25.
Fabrics Galore are brilliant, by the way, guys.
I can't believe how quick the delivery was as
Yeah,
well.
well, they're central London, I think, which
Yeah.
helps. But no, they're brilliant, and that is like stuff like that. Fantastic.
Yeah, and but even so, when I was looking at the remnants, I was asking myself, what will I make with this? So blue double gauze, I'll make a bedtime top.
Yeah.
Bit of lovely bright gorgeous jersey, I'm going to make like a sleeveless tank. So even then I knew what they were going to become when I bought them. Mm-hmm. Let's be clear, I don't always buy with a plan.
Of course not.
I'm not sitting here being the queen of
No,
planning.
and nor are we saying you shouldn't, because sometimes the fabric you buy with that plan makes the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
So I'm going to throw out an example here of something I think was really epic I made recently. And it's a bit self-aggrandising, but I'm really happy about it. Some of you may have seen in April, I went to my sister-in-law's hen do. And I made a Nina Lee caramel jumpsuit in a really bright pink cotton
it's
lawn.
lovely.
I nearly swore there. I'm trying to be good, so I save Sam time. I love it. I love it so much. But I bought that fabric in February going, oh, it's just so pretty. But I did, when I got it, I was like, it's a cotton lawn.
Yeah,
So I can make something for the summer that's a bit structured.
yeah.
That was the only thought I had. And then I was sat going, oh God, I can't get this caramel jumpsuit out of anything. And then I suddenly realised there was a view I hadn't made,
Yeah.
which was the smaller top and strappy view. And I went, fantastic. That jumpsuit wouldn't have existed if I hadn't impulse bought that fabric.
No, so I do impulse buy. Of
course we all
but
do.
What we're trying to do is, if you're worrying about, do I need a fabric band? Should I have a fabric band? We're just helping you to try and think, is there a different way to think
Exactly.
about things? And I've realised that for me, it's not just about what type of fabric, but it's what season will I want to wear it in. So I've definitely realised I need spring bright but warm items, so like long sleeve tops that feel like spring.
Yeah.
Because layers, and I know we can winterize a summer dress, but actually
It's much easier to winterize something to
summarise
summerify.
a winter.
I'm going to go summerify.
Springify a winter item, because and I'm very grateful that I'm in the position where I can change out my wardrobe and ask these questions, and that is a luxury.
It is.
But I'm still really mindful about what I buy, because there is a limited budget.
Of course there is. But also, like, we should all be mindful about what we buy. I'm going to throw a suggestion out there, a bit of a workbook thing people can
Ooh,
do.
yeah.
I strongly recommend having a do not buy list. And what I mean by that is things that rationally are a terrible idea.
Yep.
So I'm going to throw an example out there. I can't wear navy. The base colour of my wardrobe is black. I will wear black all year.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't tend to have black trousers very much in the summer, but I have a lot of black dresses and sort of, but I don't wear navy. And anytime I buy something navy, it languishes in my wardrobe. If I buy navy fabric, it never gets sewn with, and if it does, it never gets worn. So I have that on my list. I basically don't buy polyester at all anymore in any form.
Because I'm a woman of a certain age, can't do that.
Oh, I sweat in it. It's awful. Or I have to say, it's either so stuck to my legs that I might as well not be
Static
wearing
attack,
clothes,
yeah.
or it rides up as I walk, which is awful.
Talcum powder on the legs. that
Hairspray
works.
on tights
Yeah,
as well
yeah.
works for the static.
I don't buy pastels anymore,
Yeah, I'm with you there.
because just don't work for me.
Oh, I look like a Victorian ghost in pastels. I
Yes.
can't do it.
No, I want to. I love all the vintage prints. They just don't work for me.
Yeah, no, I'm
So-
with you there.
I think
If it's too, like, I love Liberties, but if
I
it's
love
too
it, but-
pastel and ditzy, it doesn't look right on me.
no, I have one fabric in my stash right now which will have to be a lining. Again, I bought this because it was everywhere, so I know now, and that was a lesson learnt some time ago. It was the one that was called, I think it was a Glastonbury, like it was all pinks and that flowers. It was all the shops had it.
I think
at the
I
time.
remember the one you mean.
I bought
yeah.
it in the sale somewhere, because classic me, not going to pay full price. But every time I go to think, what can I wear with it, it doesn't work. So I'll make it into a lining.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I think that was the beginnings of going, why did you do that?
Yeah, but it's a really good point though. A side note, I've had some messages recently from people saying they love our descriptions of things, and particularly a few I've said recently, including one on my YouTube where I said I had to buy patterned white fabric, otherwise I look like a virginal sacrifice. And I didn't think about this, and I've had so many messages from people going, "Can you and Sam just keep describing fabric, please?" Yeah, I mean, but it's true. Have that list of the stuff you know you won't wear, or like if fabrics you hate. I mean, I am sewing with linen at the moment, and the only reason I'm doing that is it's one of the best quality linens I've ever felt, and it's not scratchy.
That's something I won't buy because linen makes me feel scratchy.
So normally,
anything with wool in it, can't wear it.
I never normally wear linen ever, but I bought that at the Stitch Festival. And I spent 20 minutes going to and from, going,
and
but
feeling it up.
Exactly. I spent so long. And then also at the Stitch Festival, you got to hold on to it because otherwise you're never going to see it again.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. You can always put it back down. You can always take it back out of your basket.
Yes, but if you don't pick it up, particularly at festivals, if you don't pick it up, you ain't having it.
No. So you hold on to it. You can always put it down, but you can't pick it back up.
Can I tell you, I'm a moment I'm not ashamed of, but I'm also slightly like, I was at the Stitch Festival and I was holding this red linen and someone else picked up the other side of them, and I responded in such a gut way. I literally just looked up and raised an eyebrow and the woman put it down. I was like, nah, that's fine. I've been holding this for 5 minutes trying to get the guy's attention. You can see she picked up going, oh, this is nice. I was like, yes, it is limited roll that I'm holding. Well, there was only about 3 meters left on it. So I was like, no. Yeah. But if you have that list, like I bought that linen in bright red, which I know I will wear more because if it looks crinkled, it doesn't matter because it's really bright. Whereas if you wear like tan linen, you just look like you're wearing a paper bag, or at least I do. I'm not a woman who can.
Yeah, and I just have to have a little side note here. Yes. Somebody messaged me about the fact that they like the fact that I am not purporting the, when you're over a certain age, don't wear these colours.
Such nonsense.
And the fact that there are people out there telling us ladies of an older age that we're too old to wear pattern, we're too old to wear this, we're too old to wear that. We are never too old to do anything other than what works for us.
Well, exactly.
And, people can have a poke in the eye if they think that. You need to do you, and people know I love a bright colour. That doesn't mean everyone else loves a bright colour. You might be on a journey, and I've done a whole vlog on this. You might be on a journey where you're just wearing bright shoes or bright handbag or bright trousers, but don't ever let anyone else tell you what you can and can't do. This is all about working out what works for you.
Exactly, and I think as well, I definitely see that a lot, or I see, as a shorter woman, I assume you've had this as well, I've had a huge amount of my sort of existence wearing clothes as you can't wear this because it makes you look short, and you can't wear that because it makes you look short, and you can't wear high-waisted because it makes you look short. And I'm like, oh, shut up. No, it doesn't. Because in reality, what happens is you wear what you want to wear on your body, and if you feel fantastic in it, you're going to look great regardless.
And that goes for stash. You can have whatever stash suits your circumstance.
You absolutely can.
But if it's making you feel weird, it's time to ask the harder questions about why.
Exactly.
It might be worth... I'm thinking about resorting my stash by colour.
I think that's a good idea. I'm thinking about having a really good go through my remnants and seeing if because I think the thing is I'm quite bad for holding on to remnants when they're not usable.
I'll put a photo up somewhere of how big my remnant is.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that like if there are remnants I can use, I tend to use them as pocket bags.
Yes, me
which,
too.
Is brilliant.
Undersides of collars.
Yeah. Anything like that, it's great. Yeah. But I think what's so important for when we're talking about fabric bands, if you need to do it, you've got to have a reason beyond, oh, I shouldn't buy fabric. You've got to have a reason that works for you. And the thing is, often it won't equate to I shouldn't buy fabric. It will equate to I've got to stop buying trending fabric.
Yeah, or I need to stop buying viscose, or whatever it is.
Or I need to stop buying from this shop. But as Sam said, you have to think about the hard questions because that's what it comes down to in the end.
I had to stop buying green.
Did you?
Yes.
You wear green all the time.
I know.
Is that why?
Well, no, I love green,
Uh-huh.
but that means all green fabrics call out to me, and a person only needs so much green in their stash.
That is
So
very, very true.
I had to have a look and say, I have enough green to sew with. I need a different colour that I want to sew with, because otherwise I'm going to get bored of sewing with green.
That is very fair. I
So
sew a
we-
lot with pink and red.
We will have natural leanings
Yeah.
when we're choosing fabric, and it's a bit like if you go shopping for food shopping and you don't know how many tins of beans you've got in the cupboard, and
Yeah.
you keep buying beans every time.
Exactly.
And unless you actually do a cupboard audit and go, we've got 75 tins of beans, stop
We really
buying
don't need beans, yeah.
And that's a bit like, if you don't know what's in your stash of whatever size your stash is, that's another reason why you could end up buying things.
Yeah.
So this is where, again, is it a fabric ban, or is it actually, do I need to have an audit so I know what my leanings are and to try and lean elsewhere?
But I would suggest not buying any fabric while you do your audit. Give yourself, in my experience, sort of a week to do your audit and think about it, and then another week to think about it some more, and then do some conscious fabric shopping or just fabric looking.
Yeah.
See what you're drawn
I
to.
love a
and
fabric look now.
So
And
do
window
I.
shopping.
As
Yeah.
it's the same reason I look at Pinterest for outfit inspo. Where sometimes I like it because it makes me go, oh, I could do that differently, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now, I think we should wrap up this episode with a little bit of chat about what we are sewing at the moment.
Before we do, can I do one last little
Of course
plug?
you can.
So, on this theme of auditing everything, the lovely Sarah of My Handmade Wardrobe has been
Yes.
doing this fantastic series called Sew Your Own Style.
Which has been great.
And included in that has been a really helpful guide to a wardrobe audit,
Mm-hmm.
helping you to think what your sewspirations or sewing resolutions or whatever. She's come up with brilliant names for
She
these
has.
things.
They are fantastic.
And also helping you document your outfits and what they made you feel like.
Which is so important. So we finished Me Made now. Me
Yeah.
Made May. God, I can't
Yeah.
say that today. But that's been my resolution for the whole month is I'm not documenting what I'm wearing to see if I wear it or not. I wear all my Me Mades. But I'm documenting the outfits that give me joy every day.
Yeah.
Because that is a really useful thing to be able to look back on and say, I vibe in these outfits.
And I'm still documenting actually what percentage of my wardrobe needs to be comfies versus this aspirational wardrobe that I'm not going to wear.
Yeah, which is such a good point as well,
Yeah.
because both of us have moved from jobs that are very in person, very client or front facing, to jobs where we're now office or home based. And we need different things in our lives.
And I still like the winter version. I still want the spring version to be joyful.
Yes.
So that's something that Sarah's doing a great
She's
thing
doing a
about.
fantastic job.
And that's in the book. I promise this will be the last episode where I go on about it. But in the Big Dress Energy book, which I need to lend you because I finished
Yes,
it, working out what percentage of your wardrobe you need for different things. Because if you only have front facing 20% of the time, why is 80% of your wardrobe front facing?
Well, exactly. And I do think that's something a lot of us struggle with. You buy the clothes you like, not the ones you need.
Yeah.
Or you
and
make
also,
the clothes you
I was
like.
going to say, we sew all these fabulous dresses with nowhere to wear them. And actually, I've been now sewing gorgeous t-shirts to just enjoy wearing at home.
Yeah. I think for me, I've also decided, because I prefer wearing gorgeous dresses, I'm now giving myself more places to wear them.
Yeah.
Or I'm going, actually, I can wear this with this and it becomes a casual outfit.
Yep.
Or it's like, I think that's really important as well, because don't save it for a special occasion.
No.
Unless it's like a full wedding dress, you probably don't need a special
do,
occasion,
yeah.
you know, like just crack on. But, you know, some things have a home in certain
Yeah.
events, but pretty much everything else, just wear what you like.
Yeah. My problem is if I wear dresses in the summer, I have to wear the little shorts underneath.
Right, okay.
So then it's like, do I want that faff?
Yeah.
So
I wear
and
dresses all summer
Yeah.
and then sometimes shorts.
Yeah. So it's definitely, there's so many questions to ask yourself. So
But that's where to start rather
Yeah.
than a blanket fabric ban,
Yeah.
we would say.
right.
Shall
Well,
we have a chat about what we're sewing for the
what
last sort
are
of
we
10 minutes?
sewing? Well, I'm sewing gorgeous t-shirts.
Hooray!
So lovely, bright, colourful ones, long sleeve ones, short sleeve ones.
Is there a pattern you like using?
I'm loving the free Closet Core t-shirt.
I haven't
pattern.
tried that one yet. I really
It's
want
a really nice pattern. It's a nice shape. You've got choice of sleeve length. It's just a nice bodice block. and it's just, I've sewn about 4 variations of colours now of the long sleeve top, which means on the days in spring where it's chilly, I've got a lovely nice bright base colour.
So nice.
And now I'm messing around a bit with like an Agnes sleeve with the Closet Core bodice block, because the Agnes sleeve has the little bit of puff.
Yeah.
So just playing around with, just enjoying lovely colourful basics.
And you do love a jersey.
Love a jersey. I'm wearing jersey right now.
She is. She looks fabulous, guys.
And also lovely bright plain cotton trousers.
Ooh.
Like with paper bag waists, things like that.
Yeah.
Because again, I rarely wear jeans. And particularly this time of year, I want like a cooler trouser because it's not so clingy on you, but just that I want to slob around at home in.
That's very
fair.
fair.
Why can't they be bright blue, purple, pink?
That's what I use So I am obsessed with the Closet Core Pietro.
Yeah, which
And
I've
I've
never
made
sewed.
you would love them, I think.
Yeah.
I've made all of the views.
Yeah.
So they're my favourite shorts in the summer. But also the View, I'm going to make a version of the View A, which is the wide leg. I made them in denim for the winter and I wear them all the time. But I want a pair for the summer because it's nice and high waisted, but it's elasticated at the back.
Nice.
But it's flat at the front and has enormous pockets. They're like up to my elbow, they're huge. And it's that thing we're talking about, is feeling good at home.
Yeah.
But practical.
Yeah.
So comfy, they're not digging into you, you are comfortable in them, you've got pockets, you've got what you need.
So my go-to that I'm sewing is a Closet Core pattern, but it's the
Ooh.
sepia pants. So they're part of the Closet Core crew.
Oh, yeah.
Again, massive pockets. It's a double layered pocket. So you've got double...
That's
and
so
it's got
good.
the paper bag waist, which I didn't think would be for me. Once I made one pair, I was like, I love the way this feels.
I really want to try that because I had a pair of paper bag shorts when I was younger and I loved them. God knows where they went. In one of the many house moves, but I would love to have a go at that
Yeah,
pattern.
and it's got a dart at the knee and a dart in the leg cuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Classic Closet Core little details.
I do love a Closet Core.
Yeah.
I'm going to make another Closet Core Faye bikini this year, I think.
Oh,
or
right.
swimwear, swimming costume, because I got on really well with that. But that's really cool. So that's your focus.
That's my focus, because that's what I need, is to be joyful at home.
I love that. So I have a very different focus. Two focuses. We have now moved house. I know I've been saying this for months, but I am actually this weekend cutting out my wedding dress toile because Adam is out on Saturday morning and that's when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I really just... The thing is, we'd been moving house and our old flat was quite damp and it was a bit grubby and I just didn't want to get my fabric out on that. I just didn't. Whereas now we're laminate floors. I can hoover and mop before I do it, so it's really clean. But I'm going to get it cut out this weekend.
Amazing.
And then my other one is, while this podcast season is coming out, I am going to 2 international conferences and I'm presenting at one.
Ooh.
Possibly a third one as well, but TBC on that. And it's my very first time as a PhD student and as a doctoral candidate presenting my work to an international audience. So I want to make some me-made clothes that make me feel like the PhD and future doctor that I will be.
Yes, the way you want to feel. Yeah.
Exactly. I want to feel confident on stage. I want to feel my best. I'll be presenting to a lot of people. And it's my first time, and also it's a side project to do on my PhD, and my supervisors are like, why are you doing a second thing? And I was like, no, don't worry about it, it's fine. So, we'll see how we go. But that's a big focus for me this month. So I need to... I'm still thinking about what I want and what I want to make exactly pattern-wise, and what I want, because one of them's in the Netherlands and one of them's in Glasgow.
Oh, right.
But they're June and July.
Who knows what the weather will be
well,
there
exactly,
in either of those places in June and July.
Exactly. And part of me was like, I could make a blazer, but frankly, I think it'll be too hot for a blazer.
Yeah, I think...
So I'm a bit TBC. I don't know what I want. I
need to persuade you to make this dress. So I'll just tell everybody what I'm wearing.
Yeah, she looks fabulous.
I have on the My Handmade Wardrobe cozy jersey dress, and it's the one that I made a version for the catwalk for Sarah, which was the velvet one,
which was amazing.
This one I lengthened it and I've made it in a space print fabric from Little Legs.
From Little Legs, yeah, it looks fantastic.
But from a distance, it just looks like an abstract pattern. It's not till you get up close and go, oh, it's a space rocket.
It does look brilliant.
And I wore it today for a conference that I was presenting at on attendance. And it's secret pyjamas but I felt really put together because it's got the lovely side panels.
So it is
So
really nice.
I vote for us finding you a jersey that
The
you
thing
can
is,
make
I
it
don't
in.
like wearing jersey to smart stuff. I don't feel comfortable. I like to be more
Interesting,
tailored when I'm I do quite a lot of public speaking, and I have for years, and in my head it's sort of a subset of my brain that requires tailoring.
Then
I
have
like
to
to
work
be
on
zipped,
this.
and I think thing is that's not going to change, and that's fine because
Yeah.
I love jersey for when I'm teaching.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We're still
And
yet
when
to
I'm doing
find
stuff
you a
like that.
jersey fabric.
Oh God, guys, I'm awful. I really just don't
Jess
get on
and
with jersey.
I are going to go on a Birmingham shopping trip at some point.
We are,
and I am
yes.
going to find her. We'll film this. Can I hijack and just talk about a sewing challenge?
Absolutely, you can, because it's a very important challenge that's going on this month.
So it started at the beginning of June. This is
Yep.
coming out at the beginning of June, so perfect. So this is run by a lovely lady who's called B Silver Creates.
Yep.
We'll link it below, and it's a sewing challenge for hashtag Sew Blood Pressure 24. And the reason we don't often talk about sewing challenges so much, but the reason we want to talk about this one is because it's very much in the style of the Sew Yellow for Endo style, which is about raising awareness, raising money, and sewing being a positive outcome of
And
that.
the lady who's organising it has had some experiences with this recently in her family. So there's no prizes. You don't get anything
does say
to...
there might be a winner, but it's much more about the community aspect.
Exactly.
Of
It's about the
this.
community, but it's also, she's done a really lovely thing, which is talking about the fact that blood pressure conditions can take people very suddenly. So what she'd like to encourage you to do is to sew something you've been putting off.
Yes.
In the spirit of the fact that we should take advantage of being able to do things while we can, which
Yep.
we both think is a really
And
important
also,
message.
if something doesn't feel right medically, don't put it off.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's a really great message. It feeds on from your Sew Yellow for Endo as well. So you use the hashtag Sew Blood Pressure 24. You can put them up at any time during the month of June, your makes, and it, as Jess said, it's anything you've been putting off.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely anything.
yeah.
And you
Mine
just
is
donate
probably-
£1.
Mine is probably going to be the Zadie jumpsuit, which I've been thinking about for 2 years now.
Oh my goodness, do it. Although I'm so excited to see what you think of the Zadie jumpsuit, because I have not heard good things from short curvy women. So I'm really excited to see what you think.
Yes, I will be interested and I will report back, but that could be a good one to push myself to do.
I
for
think
this
so.
month.
I
Yeah.
don't know what I'll do. I'm thinking about
So
it.
something with Jersey.
Yeah, but I've been putting that off. I just don't want to do that. It's a
Some
different
people
vibe.
might say that about going to the doctors. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, but it's not like I've been thinking about doing it for a while. I've just been going, nope.
I know, but wasn't it January or February we went to the Sewing for Pleasure?
Yes, it was March.
March. So it has
I
been
know,
a while.
it has been a while. Well, tell you what, I'll have a look through and see if there's any actual unfinished, like, half-cut projects.
Yes.
And if there aren't, I'll make something in
Right.
Jersey. Just
if
for
not,
you.
we've got the whole Birmingham trip we'll do to find you something. We
I don't-
must be able
Guys,
to.
I think the problem is I just don't really wear jersey. Like, even right now, I was wearing a t-shirt earlier and it annoyed me, so I put a shirt on. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not a natural jersey wearer, but I love a
Yeah.
jersey dress.
Yes.
As in, like, I love a slinky jersey dress
well,
that I would
my
describe
tie
as just a
front one.
sock. Yeah.
That would be a good one.
That
That,
would be a
pattern
good
that I
one.
created.
Yes. I might have to
There we-
steal that.
Yes, and that might be the jersey we have to do.
Because the thing is, I pick up jersey things in my wardrobe and just go, nope, and just put them back
So
in.
it's really interesting, isn't it? This mindset, because I worked out that was my mindset about blouses. I thought blouses was an old-fashioned, fussy
Well,
word.
okay, what I would say is I don't like, except for one jersey dress I have, except for one jersey dress I have, which is my black, it's a McCall's pattern, it's a black ribs jersey dress, and it's like long sleeves, slits up the side, and I
Oh,
wear
yes,
it. I love
yes,
that. I
yeah.
wear it all the time. That's the only jersey I have that I actually feel
What's that
comfortable in.
stripy one that you wore to my
And
house?
that's
Yeah,
the same
see,
pattern.
Now it's coming.
But that's the
Ah,
same pattern. That
Yeah.
is, and the thing is, I like the striped one because it's very thin. I can't wear it any other time
You
of
need
year.
to make the new Tammy Handmade dress.
Oh my goodness! Right, find me a jersey and I'll make the Gia dress in a heartbeat because
Yeah.
I was gonna apply to test for that, but I just wasn't here in April.
Well, I might have a fabric you can make it in that you might like anyway.
Oh,
so-
okay. We'll film this. We'll film this as a
Oh,
B-roll.
right. Oh, right. Well,
B-roll.
here we go. See, I've got it on record now. We found
doing
some.
it. I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it.
Although
Right.
there is a gorgeous pink ribbed that's around at the moment.
Oh, I know.
So you love pink.
I do. Do you know what, actually? I never used to wear pink because I thought it was overly girly.
Me too.
And now I love it.
Me too.
Wear it all the time.
As a child, growing up in the 80s and early 90s, I was vehemently against pink, even though it was big. Pink and grey was big.
Well, my mum
hated it.
My mum's worn pink for years because her hair's pink. So I don't know as well in my head if I just went pink is my mum's colour, and I wasn't aware of other shades of pink because my mum wears a very specific bright magenta, like that's the colour her hair's been for years as well. Whereas I've discovered I quite like a soft pink, not a full pastel,
like almost like a strong marshmallow pink.
sort of, yeah, but like a little, almost like a peachy coral colour as well.
Oh yeah.
But for years, because I used to be incredibly ginger and have very, very red hair, and it clashed a bit. And I think I at that point went, it doesn't suit me. And then I changed hairstyle. I went blonde, and I was like, oh my God, no, pink's great. Yeah. And now I've found a way to make sure that I have a better hairdresser, frankly, who's better at blending my hair to make sure it doesn't clash.
I absolutely associated pink when I was growing up with being super girly, which is not what I wanted to be.
Right, okay.
And I know people might find that quite hard now when they look at how I dress now, but when I was younger, I did not want to be associated with that.
Vibe.
It was not my vibe, it was not what I wanted. And so I vehemently refused pink because of what it sort of stood for in my mind.
Yeah.
Now I feel very differently about myself and things, and actually pink is a colour that works so well with the things I wear, and there's so many shades of it as well.
There are, and I think that's something as well. I would encourage everyone to look at all the different shades possible, because don't just write off a colour unless, like me, like navy's just no. I look like a sort of, what's the word? I look like a ward sister in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
That's I look. Navy makes me look very severe.
Matronly.
Yeah, well, I think it's the figure as well. There's something about, because I am a shorter, curvier woman, well, we both are, which is great actually on this podcast because we can sort of talk quite openly. It does not flatter. No, I don't want to use the word flatter.
No.
It doesn't work with my body.
It doesn't make you feel great.
It doesn't make me feel great.
No.
But it also, I think black works well with my skin tone. So I don't have the same problems, but navy makes me look really washed out in my skin.
Yeah.
And it makes me look very, like, I don't know, I think it chimes with the bags under my eyes and stuff. And to be fair, I'm not being melodramatic. I do have medication that thins my skin, so I do have really dark circles under my eyes, particularly at the moment where I'm not drinking enough water.
Don't notice, though.
But for me, as soon as I put navy on, they become enormous, giant, glowing lamps, and like my veins stand out, and I hate it.
I don't really do navy because I don't really do those kind of colours.
Yeah, you don't even really wear black very much.
I don't wear black very often.
I wear black all the time.
Yeah. And I don't wear jeans really either.
No, you
which
don't.
is quite unusual.
It is, because I wear jeans a lot.
Yeah.
But I think, do you know what? For me, that was a me-made block, was the clothes I was wearing and wanting to buy were black. And I couldn't find any decent black me-made fabrics. Whereas now, Thirst for Fabrics have lovely black cotton lawn. Yeah. If you want to make, like, black dresses that are sort of, I've got another one planned actually. I've got plans. But also my local fabric shop, A&M Textiles, had some brilliant black rib jersey, which they still have, and they had some really nice black knit as well. So I'm going to remake the True Bias that was lost to the tube.
Yes, that's very sad.
But like that was a big thing for me, was discovering black fabrics, which are quite hard to find.
Well, and the same for me. None of the shops had the colour cardigans I wanted. So, you know.
Do you know what, actually, as well, throwing this out there, we found it so hard to find white fabric. Like, decent
did.
white cotton.
We really did. When I wanted, because I realised that a nice white sort of 80s style blouse
would really suit you.
Yeah. And we looked at the whole of the Sewing for Pleasure, didn't we?
Yeah, I looked at the Stitch Festival as well.
Best place is actually Sew Me Sunshine.
Yes. Oh, I have a plan. This is the other thing I'm sewing. I may have already sewed it by the time this comes out because I've got a plan. I bought the most stunning cotton voile that's white from Sew Me Sunshine, that's got embroidered daisies on it. I'm going to make a Tilly and the Buttons Mabel.
Ooh.
Because I'm going to look it's going to look quite cottagecore.
I was going to say you'll be a bit milkmaid.
But I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Because of the daisies.
Yeah.
And because I know it suits me already. Like, I know it's not... If I was making a Friday Pattern Company Davenport, I would be going to find a cow right now and just committing to the Swiss Alps. Whereas the Mabel, I think, will be just right.
You had the Mabel on when we went to the Sewing for Pleasure, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it works well on you, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. And it's sort of low cut enough to not make me look milkmaidey, but also there's enough room in there for me to enjoy it in the summer and feel like floaty and wearing a white dress and feeling nice.
I might make the white fabric I bought from Solar Sunshine into the I Am Barbara. It is amazing. The back and the front flounce that you can have.
Yeah.
I've made a toile. The choices, love a pattern with a good range of choices, but the way it comes down the sleeve and
it's just so you.
It's
it's a bit of you, that pattern. Right, well, guys, you know what we're going to start sewing. We have had a blast recording our first episode, I think. So next week, you are going to hear from a very special guest who those of you who go to the Southern Social will know very well. She's a delight.
Yeah, or who's working behind the scenes on the social directory.
Which, if you don't follow, you should.
Yeah.
Top quality posts and general sewing banter. So we will have a fabulous special guest next week.
Yeah.
So join us in 2 Wednesdays' time for your next episode. So thank you all so much for listening.
And please go and tell everybody about the podcast.
Thank you very much, guys. See you next time. Bye.